Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. What's up, everybody? Good morning and a happy Thursday to you all. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, online at our website, sportstalk1051.com, wayyyradio.com. You got the app, download it, take it on the go. Your smart devices, smart speakers like your Alexa devices, or you're tuning in on YouTube. We appreciate it, and thank you for making us a part of your starts on this Thursday morning of June 4th. What do we have on the game plan for us this morning? Brew Crew falling last night 1-0 against the San Francisco Giants. Bats pretty quiet. Logan Webb looking like vintage Logan Webb last night. He had a no-no going for the longest time too, but Brewers able to collect a whopping 3 hits to avoid that last night. Robert Gasser getting called up, and probably his best performance this season, but he does get charged with the loss, going 5 innings. Giving up the solo shot, 1 earned run, did strike out 5 and only issued 1 walk. Chad Patrick wrapping it up, going 4 innings too. So, but Brewers not able to secure at least a series win yesterday, but they can do it today. The series finale in this 4-game series. We've got Coleman Crow going for the Brewers, still looking for his first win on the season, and they're going to be going up against former friend Adrian Hauser. Adrian Hauser in 11 games so far this year is 2-5 with a 5.59 ERA. So first pitch, 1:10, and a little getaway day here. Coverage will begin on your radio dials 35 minutes prior, so about 12:35 today. So we'll take a look back at last night's loss and take a look ahead to tonight's game. Got some updates on injuries to like Brandon Woodruff and such. So we'll talk plenty of Brewers here this morning. We'll do a little Packers chats, updates from OTAs. Micah Parsons talking to the media yesterday. And he pretty much said that he's not going to be available for the start of the season. It's going to be probably starting on that PUP list. Said the Packers have a hard 9-month. You'd be out 9 months with this ACL injury. So looking at a potential maybe return ahead of that Chicago Bears game with Week 5. So we'll tell you a little bit more about what Micah Parsons had to say yesterday. Kind of one of our first times that we've heard from Micah Parsons in a long time. So we'll talk a little football, talk a little Packers from OTAs yesterday. We got that on the docket. We're going to talk a little Bucks too. I know we did yesterday with 3 weeks before for the NBA draft, but Jim Wozarski, who covers the Milwaukee Bucks for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, in the latest podcast episode from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, the Point Forward podcast, kind of gave an interesting thoughts on why it's pretty quiet right now regarding any rumors, news, or anything like that surrounding one Giannis. So we'll talk a little bit about that coming up here too. We'll play a little bit of a clip from the podcast so you can hear what he had to say and such. But we got a little hoops chat. Knicks picking up a win last night as the NBA Finals tipped off. So Knicks get game 1 against the Spurs. We'll talk some hoops coming up here too. We'll continue our top 250 countdown, the 250 top top 250 moments in American sports, whether it's players, coaches, teams, games, plays, all that good stuff. So we'll continue our top 250 countdown a little bit later on. It is Thursday, which means enough is enough. What are your enough is enough kind of, I guess, or let me rephrase that. What's the sports story, narrative, whatever it is out there where you're just like, man, enough is enough. So you can send those on over to us on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912, or you can join in on the video stream and chat with the crew at the Section 105 chat room over there. We'll do a little tailgate outdoors, brought to you by Tilden Gun. Jake Boak's going to be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. I know it's free fishing weekend, so if you have any questions regarding that, please text those on over right now so we can get those on over to Jake. If you have any other questions related to the outdoors, please send those on over so we can get those to Jake. So, all right. Let's get things going here this morning, shall we? We'll get the leadoff going. We'll talk some baseball. We'll talk some Brew Crew. Brewers falling last night 1-0. Logan Webb looking like good old Logan Webb. I know his numbers haven't been that great this year, but he looked the part last night. So Brewers still going to try to go for a series win later this afternoon. Coleman Crow is going to be on the mound. We've got some updates on who's going to be making the next few starts, especially with the Colorado series coming up here too. So, and then a Brandon Woodruff updates, kind of getting closer, hopefully maybe getting a little bit closer to returning. But Brewers still remaining 5.5 games up in the Central over both the Cardinals and the Pirates. Cubbies losing again last night to the A's, so they are 6.5 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers. The Reds are 7 games behind the Brewers. So let's talk some baseball to open it up this morning. Join in on the convo. Hit us up on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line or in the Section 105 chats. We'll take our first break, and then the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Whether you are chasing a championship or you're just trying to stay active, your body deserves the best care. And at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, they help athletes and non-athletes alike get back to doing what they love. From sports injuries and joint pain to everyday aches, their expert team is there with personalized care every single step of the way. So no matter your level of activity, you do not have to sit on the sidelines. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better, feel better, and live better. It is Thursday, so let's also say good morning to our guy, our intern, Mr. Carter. How goes it, sir?
Pretty good.
You're in a baseball mood right now, it looks like. The A's hat's on there, or is that for the A's beating the Cubs too, like a double whammy?
Sure, yeah, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that, yeah, all right. So, Brew Crew falling last night to the Giants 1-0 offense. Not really able to get anything going against Logan Webb, but Brewers still in a good spot and have a chance to get the series win tonight with Coleman Crow on the mound. Adrian Hauser is going to get the start for the Giants, former friend Adrian Hauser. So, but also a couple of notes here before we kind of get into the game here. Before yesterday, we had Brandon Woodruff getting some work in doing like a bull or a simulated game, kind of, just kind of seeing where he's at and such. But hopefully that means he's getting closer. Brandon Lockridge was also one of the hitters facing Brandon Woodruff in his live BP. So maybe both of them getting closer and closer to return. Coleman Crow getting a start today, even with Pat Murphy kind of calling out Brandon Sproat the other day. He is slated to get the start tomorrow. Jacob Mizorowski, that should be fun to watch him in the in Colorado pitching against that. And then Shane Drowan is going to get the start on Sunday. So, but, yeah, I mean, I look at last night's game, you'd like to see offense kind of get going there. But Logan Webb's a pretty solid pitcher, and I know he's had a little bit of a down year numbers-wise and such, but probably not too surprised with the way he pitched yesterday. Eventually, It felt like it was going to happen.
I mean, they have to lose eventually, right? So it kind of feels like that's the way the Brewers are going to lose when they lose this year, just an inability to score runs.
Yeah, so... But, hey, they got a chance tonight. I'm excited to get more opportunities for Coleman Crow to kind of build and that. And I know Coleman Crow is still looking for his first win on the season here, and I think he's got a good chance to do it today against the Giants. Adrian Hauser, he's coming off of a loss against Colorado where he only went 3 2/3, 8 hits, 4 earned runs. So on the season, 2-5, 5.59 ERA. He's only pitched with these 11 games, he's only pitched a little over 56 innings, too. So I think it's a really good chance for the Brewers to get the win today.
Yeah, just got to score more than 1 run, right?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Or score a run.
Score a run and hold them to 0, absolutely. But the way the Brewer, I mean, still with a comfortable division lead, I know it's just the beginning of June in that, but yeah, it's hard to kind of I know it's baseball and such, but I don't want to overreact too much to a game from yesterday. Yeah, we get excited when there's wins, of course, and that, but it was a tough one last night. But Robert Gasser maybe is probably the biggest story to take away from that because, we'd been kind of wondering about Robert Gasser for a while. A couple of years ago, he came on the scene and pitched really well, and then he had the Tommy John surgery, and then he's kind of been up and down and really not pitching at that level that we saw a couple of years ago. And I know, Pat Murphy yesterday kind of, said he's got to, do a better job with the walks and command and such. And, well, I think yesterday he did that. So hopefully that's something to build upon for Robert Gasser. And if he continues to get more opportunities, hopefully this is kind of that next step, that hurdle that he cleared, essentially.
Yeah, even after the game, in the post game, he said he took a step forward in spotting his pitches and his command. And I feel like for a lot of the Brewers pitchers, that was kind of their problem coming into the season, and most of them have worked it out. But it was good to see him actually take a step because he had been struggling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, hopefully that's something that they could continue to build upon. I don't know if that means he's got a chance to kind of stay on the ball club long term when guys come back, like a Logan Henderson, like a Brandon Woodruff, and that. But it would just be nice to know that if that was kind of a hurdle that he cleared, maybe mentally more than anything, right? I mean, obviously he's been there physically, he's been able to pitch, but I think if anything, it was just maybe more of a mental hurdle that he cleared last night. Hopefully, I mean, it's just one game, but you'd like to see, next time he's out there, that it's a similar performance because he didn't pitch like a losing pitcher last night. Yeah, he gave up the solo run and he gets charged with the loss. But that's a quality start from Robert Gasser, and that's something, going forward, you can hopefully build some positive stuff around it too. So, but Brandon Woodruff, as we said, completed a 3-inning live BP yesterday. He threw 42 pitches. They're definitely, I think, taking this very slow and cautious and such. So, be interesting to see if they decide to have him do a rehab start somewhere, whether it's like a quick trip to Appleton or Nashville, or do they just bring him back up on the major league club because he is a veteran? I know it said that the Brewers and Brandon, they're going to be discussing it and such, but this is, again, another example, I think, of them just taking this very, very, very slow, because if we go back to the comments that Brandon Woodruff had in spring training and such, it's not necessarily about pitching now. He wants to be pitching in September and October. Mm-hmm. And you can't really plan that, I don't think, too much right now. We don't know. A lot of things could happen, but right now they're getting away without having him in the rotation, right? I mean, they're still winning a bunch of games and such, and obviously I think a lot of it has to do with Jacob Izarowski, the way he's playing, and Kyle Harrison is playing, and the bullpen is playing. So this is allowing them, I think, to be a little cautious with bringing Brandon Woodruff back.
Well, and Robert Gasser and Brandon Sproat, they're fine regular season pitchers. So it helps when you get – they can take it slow because we need – like you said, we need Brandon Woodruff back for the postseason. We are running a little thin. I didn't know we'd have this many injuries, but you look at some of the trades this offseason now, I mean, they make a ton of sense because you have gone through injuries and you have needed every single arm in AAA. And, I mean, just credit to the Brewers again. They called it, so.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely. But 1:10 first pitch today, get 35 minutes prior pregame coverage. Coleman Crow, the way he's looking for his first win. But I think, the games that we have seen him play and we've seen him pitch, he's pitched 3 games now at the major league level. He's given up 2 earned runs, 1 earned run, 2 earned runs. He hasn't gone really deep into games. I mean, 5 1/3, 5, 4. And just kind of the way he pitches, obviously it's a lot of is that breaking ball sort of stuff until maybe he gets a little bit more fine-tuned or seasoned. Maybe he is a guy that, because it's breaking ball and by the time that lineup turns over a third time, maybe hitters have kind of timed it and figured it out until he gets a little bit more seasoned. Maybe this is the type of pitcher he's going to be. He's going to give you 5 innings, and then after that, it's going to be bullpen stuff. But when he is on and early on in these games, I mean, he's a very effective pitcher, and if teams have no experience going up against him, that's a big bonus. I think just the biggest key for tonight is kind of the same thing for every game. If he gets early run support and he's able to go out there and do his thing for 5 innings, I think the Brewers got a really good shot for today's game.
Yeah, and Contreras and him talked after the game, and he threw too many fastballs. And like you said, he's a breaking ball pitcher. And so I think, they'll try to work in more breaking balls later in the game. And again, he's got great stuff. I mean, you look at some of his starts, it's still relatively good for a 5th starter in your rotation. So he's definitely reliable. You want him to go a couple more innings maybe, but all in all, he's been good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I for a guy that I think, too, that, when he made that start, his first start of the season against Miami, we really didn't know a whole lot about Coleman Crow, right? And then all of a sudden you're watching or you're listening and then maybe seeing some highlights like, dude, that's a wicked breaking ball. That's a wicked curveball, and he's got some really good stuff. I think, there's the biggest thing for him is kind of just fine-tuning some stuff. It was kind of like Logan Henderson last year, where Logan Henderson came in and he pitched really well and ended up being sent back down. I know a lot of Brewers fans were kind of upset because he was winning games, but it just needed more fine-tuning, developing maybe another pitch and or improving some of the other ones, so he wasn't so predictable at times. And not saying Coleman Crow is that, but I think that could be the same kind of thought process when guys come back, that Coleman Crow's pitching really well, but he may want to team may want him to fine tune and get some, clear up or maybe develop another pitch too. So.
And they have the freedom to do that because of the depth of the pitching staff.
Mm-hmm.
So that lets them send him down.
Right. Yep. No, I agree. Totally agree. So, all right. Tell you what. Let's take a quick break. We'll talk some more Brewers. We've got more baseball talk coming up here. You can join in on the convo if you'd like. Hit us up, 715-830-1912, or join in on the Section 105 chat room. All right, plenty more Brewers chat coming your way here this morning, plus some football, plus some hoops. We're going to be dabbling into a little bit of everything here. We'll take a quick break and be back after these few words. Dings, dents, or something more serious, don't stress about it. Just head on over to Superior Auto Body. From minor touch-ups to major collision repair, they are your go-to team for getting your vehicle back to looking like new. With experienced technicians and attention to every detail, Superior Auto Body takes pride in doing the job right the first time. So when life happens to your vehicle, trust the team that Eau Claire drivers rely on. Superior Auto Body, your go-to place for all of your auto body needs. Switching gears for just a little bit. We'll get back to some more baseball talk for sure. But Packers OTAs yesterday, we got to hear from Micah Parsons for the first time here in a hot minute. I know him and Jay Love are co-hosting the softball tournament, Packers softball tournament at the Timber Rattler Stadium. I think it's this weekend, but notably, Micah Parsons did admit that he's not going to be able to start the season. So any hope of him being able to start week one. That pretty much squashed it and such. But goes back to, I think, with the NFL schedule release. Thank you for not scheduling Bears first 4 weeks of the season and such. But a couple comments from Micah Parsons. He said, quote, "The goal for me is to complete the season, not to relapse in playoffs and pushing towards a championship. The goal isn't for me to go out there and re-hurt myself trying to force myself to get back the first few games. The goal has always been to be available for the playoffs, and I think we are all on the same page. We have a pretty good, strong 9-month rule. Through the research and the data, there's no good outcomes with players coming back early from an ACL, especially if you've had other things that had to get fixed up. It's just all about completing the rehab to the best of our ability and then seeing where we're at from there." When he said other things, he revealed, too, that he did have to get the meniscus cleaned up and fixed as well, which when we talk to Dr. Crow tomorrow, he'll be able to give us a little bit more insights into that. But a couple more quotes. "I don't think Goody or Nate Weir, the head trader, or Matt wants me to go out there if I'm not at 100% and risk re-injury and lose me for the year, and it's just a waste of the year. Everything is about playoffs and winning football games. Yeah, those games are important, but maybe we don't see Dallas twice, but we see Chicago twice. And the games that we have in December, or even more playoff games, we got a tough schedule this year, and I think for the betterment of everyone wants me at 100 and wants me in those games so we can make that championship run." So with that, knowing that, all right, it is almost a for sure thing. Never say anything's for sure, but it does seem like it's a for sure thing. Should the Packers maybe go? I know Ian Rappaport from NFL Network yesterday downplayed some of the social media rumors about Josh Sweat and that, but if it's not Josh Sweat, if it's somebody else, should the Packers try to get another pass rusher, or do you think they can get the job done based off what their schedule looks like and have a winning record by that Week 5 game against Chicago? Do you trust Lucas Van Ness and Barron Sorrell and Colin Oliver or new defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon? Can Green Bay get by those first few weeks without Micah Parsons?
It's almost like, for me, it's not even trusting those edge rushers. It's just trusting the defensive backs that we have. Mm-hmm. Because you saw when Micah Parsons went down last year, I mean, quarterbacks were just able to sit in the pocket and slice us apart. And, again, we added Brandon Cisse and a couple with St. Juste, a couple corners. But if our cornerback room struggles again like last year, it's going to be a struggle to win games. And we talked about when the schedule came out, we have a pretty favorable first 4 weeks without Micah Parsons. We could get by. But when you start to get to Week 5, and he may not come back for Week 5, that's when the practice window opens, but that's not when he'll come back. So then he's played the Bears, then you play the Cowboys, then your schedule gets harder, and you kind of want your team to be clicking by then. So it's going to be interesting the first 4 weeks. Do I think they can get by 3-1? I do, but they're going to have to get good secondary play that they didn't necessarily have last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A couple more comments about Micah Parsons. He said he still hasn't really fully accepted the reality of his injury. Quote, "It constantly replays in my brain. I'm constantly thinking, how can I not? You don't even know how much time I spent on ChatGPT about my injury. I just can't accept where I'm at. I'm like, man, how do I keep progressing and progressing? It's nonstop. I haven't accepted it yet. But I work hard as HE double hockey sticks every day, trying to make sure I'll come out of this better." And I think that's where it's important to, for Nate Weir, for this franchise, we talk a lot about holding a player back from hurting themselves more. I mean, you hear a guy like, and I don't think anybody's surprised, Micah Parsons seems to be a very competitive, I would hope every pro player is competitive, but a very driven and competitive player that he may want to be out there, but you got to protect that player from themselves. And I think this might be a really good example of that too.
I think this is definitely a team decision. I think if Micah Parsons got to decide, he may be coming back much earlier. And for sure practicing, I don't think he'd be put on the PUP list, and I think this is in the best interest of everybody. I think, like he said, nothing good happens when you come back early. So to be able to take your time, get back to 100% and jump right in will be good.
The one thing I wonder is, okay, PUP list, and the rules have changed a little bit so they could practice, based off what it was in the past. If that first game eligible back, how quickly would they put him out there? But again, you look at last year, week 1, they put him out there, and I think they're comfortable with him. And I think just having a full offseason, even if he's not practicing, but to get into that new playbook with Jonathan Gannon, I think, if it is that week 5 game against Chicago, he'd be in a good spot, I think, from a game plan standpoint and understanding the defense and maybe what he was last year, week 1 heading into Detroit or heading against Detroit. I mean, the dude did have a sack in that game anyway, so he was pretty effective out there. It's just you pin your ears back and go after the quarterback. That's what I want Micah Parsons to do.
Yeah, and that's what he's best at. So,
Jay Moore, the actor comedian, he does a podcast and he talked to Micah Parsons, and I want to play this clip because he kind of talks about the difference between Dallas and Green Bay. Just kind of interesting here, and I'll just play it. It's audio courtesy from Jay Moore.
What's the biggest difference between the Packers and the Cowboys as an organization?
It's different for me now because I was probably a fan favorite, but I was never an organization favorite.
It seems like Dallas really makes over quarterback, receiver, and then it's everybody else. Is that how
it's
it
definitely offense for sure.
So you go to Green Bay. You feel like you're a fan favorite, and now you feel like you're an organization, you're a franchise favorite.
Yeah.
That's how you feel now in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And you feel now you are a Packer. Like you are a cheese-eating Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's who you are now.
Yeah. It's a beautiful feeling when you could text the GM and talk to him and the head coach. And
you couldn't do that in Dallas?
No. It's
Really?
so many steps. It's a business first, then players.
Well, he's an oil man.
Yeah, it's a business. They treat it like a business.
Is it safe to say the Packers treat it more like a family?
Yeah, it's definitely family first. I mean, my first day at a Packer, like, everyone says good morning. Everyone a bit. Like, you wouldn't know who.
Hey, how are you?
There is no hierarchy as a Packer.
Like Fargo.
Everyone is like a genuine, like you would never be able to tell between someone cleaning your laundry and probably a coach if a random person walked in the building because how they treat you.
There you go. So that's a little bit from Jay Moore's podcast and such. So every available free agent should listen to that, right? I don't want to hear any more about, it's, Green Bay, it's not attractive and all that. First of all, money speaks. That's the main thing there too. But so just kind of a nice little insight into the two different organizations. I thought interesting, but maybe not too much of a surprise though either when you kind of consider it. I mean, we don't really have the inside info and all that, but it Midwest nice probably is the best way to describe it. So, but all right, we got to take another break here as we start to wrap up the first hour. But we'll talk some more green and gold and talk a little bit more Packers. It kind of fits what Tyrod Taylor said too yesterday that it's a lot less traffic in the town of Green Bay, so compared to where he has been for the last few years. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. Plenty more to get to. Join in on the convo, though. Hit us up, 715-830-1912, or on the Section 105 chat room. We'll be right back to close up the first hour coming up after these few words. Don't forget to sign up for the Casper Classic coming your way Friday, August 7th. Just head to our website, sportstalk1051.com, and click on the link there. 10 a.m. is pretty much sold out. We've got some spots for 1 p.m. and 7:30 a.m. So get your two-person team signed up today if you're interested in becoming a whole sponsor or sponsor. or you would like to donate a raffle prize, because all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, go to helping fund Backyard Dreams, reach out. Please reach out. We would love to hear from you, and we would love your support. So, again, more details. If you've never golfed in the outing before, you can head to our website at sportstalk1051.com and just click on the Casper Classic icon. Again, 2-person team for just $90. That includes your 9 holes, your cart, your meal, some drink tickets, and a whole lot of fun too. So it'll be at Lake Cali Golf Course again this year. We got about 10 minutes left to the top. So coming up next hour, I do want to play a little bit of a clip from Bucs reporter Jim Owczarski. Because, I mean, we're now less than 3 weeks away from the soft trade deadline of Giannis with the NBA draft. Something I didn't think about, though, that and Jim kind of mentioned it too when I was listening to his pod. Jimmy Haslam did just get done trading Myles Garrett. So I was like, oh, crap. It's like you throw the owner of the Browns signed off on obviously trading Myles Garrett after giving him a big contract the year prior. So I'm like, yeah, crap, it's going to happen now. When you look at that, I was like, ah, son of a, I can't say that word, but I don't know, man. I trust guys like Jim Owczarski and such when they kind of talk about stuff, but I don't want to ruin the clip because I want everybody to kind of hear what he had to say and such. But yeah, we'll hit that up probably at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. So, but were you surprised on that Myles Garrett trade there, intern Carter?
I was. I did not see that coming at all. I think it was a win-win though for both teams because Jared Verse is a really good player. He's really young. So that really helps for the Browns, and Myles Garrett's obviously the best defensive player in the league. So
yeah, it doesn't surprise that it's a team like the Rams that are willing to do that, because we saw that a few years ago when they first acquired Matthew Stafford, and then it was like Von Miller, Beckham Jr., Jalen Ramsey, and let's just get everybody on board, and it worked. They won a Super Bowl. I think the one thing that the Rams have done a really good job since then, when they've had to reset, if you will, they've done a really good job of bouncing back really quick, right? They got their Super Bowl. They had to reset a little bit, and they drafted really well. But now they're back in a position where they can kind of do what they did a few years ago, acquiring proven talent over prospects, and they're easily a Super Bowl favorite. Why wouldn't you say they're a Super Bowl favorite when you look at that roster and that team? Does it come at a cost of maybe not keeping some of their future younger players? 100%. It does. And I did see some people kind of saying, too, that maybe Puka might not be getting an extension with the Rams now, too. But we'll see. I
mean, you look at their first-round draft picks. They've got one on the roster over the last 10 years, and that's Ty Simpson. And they're still getting young talent. I mean, Puka's young, but he was drafted in the 5th round. They do such a good job of drafting in the later rounds to supplement the roster that they have right now. And, I mean, I don't know how they do it. I don't know why they trade all their first-round picks, but it works. And I'd love for the Packers to have a Super Bowl in the last 10 years. And the Rams do. So,
yeah, I think a lot of Packers fans were probably saying this is what we wanted Green Bay to do for the longest time, too. So, but, yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how it all plays out this season. I'm definitely, and that's kind of the question I was throwing out a little bit earlier this week. Do you want Green Bay to counter? Usually you talk about that with defensive teams or not division teams, but I mean Green Bay's also in a Super Bowl window too. So, Mike, going back to Micah, he said there's a couple sharks in the AFC, but NFC is now loaded with a lot of sharks. And I know him and Myles Garrett are good friends and close, so there might be a little bit more of a friendly rivalry and competition between the two this year, maybe for that sack title or defensive player of the year too.
And I think that could make Parsons better. He thrives off competition.
Yeah.
And being now the second best edge rusher in the NFC is going to make him want to become the best.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, well, I never thought of it that way. Second best edge rusher. Well, can't argue with it, right? Myles Garrett. Look at. I know some people are already saying he's the best defensive player. I think I think Joe Thomas even said that. So I don't know if I'm there yet, but dude is definitely up there. I just, that Wednesday night game before Thanksgiving, just if everybody's healthy and playing, just got a little bit more intense for that too. So, but all right, it is a Thursday, so hit us up with some of your enough's enough. What's a sports narrative out there where you're just like, enough is enough? Can the national narrative stop doing this? So one of your topics that you threw out there, I want to kind of hit up as we wrap up, going back to a little Brewers. And it's something that, honestly, I wasn't thinking about kind of following along with these Brewers games, but then you kind of look at it. David Hamilton, and as you put out there, David Hamilton, should he be getting more starts over Joey Ortiz? And you kind of look at the lineups, and it's like, well, when was the last time really that Joey Ortiz, like, should we say that David Hamilton is the regular starting shortstop over Joey Ortiz now? Is that fair to say? Is that accurate to say?
And that was kind of my question. And don't get me wrong, David Hamilton, you're not getting a lot out of him, but you're getting more than Joey Ortiz. And defensively, Hamilton's been just fine. And so at some point, it's like you want Hamilton's bunting skills and you want his ability to run the bases, because that's all better than Ortiz can do. So you want that in the lineup each and every day. And I don't know. And it kind of feels like Murphy's doing everything he can right now. I mean, nobody's getting a lot of starts except Rengifo, but he's definitely moving the lineup around to try to figure out what works. But at this point, I'd rather see Hamilton play than Ortiz.
Yeah, I mean, just for the fact that the guy can at least bunt and have some speed to get down to first base, right? I mean, I think we got to call him the everyday starting shortstop now for the Brewers.
I mean, Hamilton has 8 stolen bases in the last 30 days. Ortiz has 0. And that's just the effect on the base pass, and it doesn't drop off defensively that much. So I don't see any issue with playing Hamilton.
I think Joey Ortiz is just like a Blake Perkins. He's a defensive replacement, once in a while type of guy, and maybe that's just his role in baseball, right? I mean, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that, but is it a full-time starter? No. You know, I love Blake Perkins, but do I want him starting every single game? No. Do I want him out there in the 8th and the 9th in holding on to a very tight lead? Yes. Yeah. You know, for defensive purposes. That's what I want. And right now, it's not much more, but yeah, Hamilton gives you just a little bit more from an offensive side. What do the Brewers want to do? They want to put pressure on opposing defenses. What does David Hamilton do at the plate? He makes you play defense, even if it is just a little bunt down to the third baseline, because of his speed and the fact that he's able to lay that bunt down. So give me David Hamilton more times than not. Yeah, you're going to suffer probably a little bit in defensively, but like you said, Hamilton's made some good plays. You know, I think he's played better defense than Luis Rengifo has all season long. And I know Rengifo made a nice catch last night, but you know, still, I think if you're just getting a little bit more from an offensive side from Hamilton, that's worth more in playing every day over Joey Ortiz.
And he can spark an offense in an instant, and I think we've seen that before. So,
and even like with his bunting, it's kind of that old school, okay, he's going to bat last, but it's almost that second leadoff. Because your leadoff hitter right now lately has been Christian Yelich. So, I mean, if you're able to get Hamilton on, even if it's just a bunt, and then Christian Yelich comes up as your leadoff hitter, you already got a runner on, and possibly even in scoring position if he's going to steal a base. So, yeah, I'd say he's the everyday starting shortstop now at this point. I don't even want a rotation. Just put him out there more times than not. And then if you have a lead in the 9th, go put Joey Ortiz out there for defensive purposes, especially if his spot in the batting lineup isn't coming up anytime soon.
And I'd almost say saying that Hamilton should be the everyday shortstop should probably mean you're calling up Cooper Pratt. Just saying that should mean that.
Yeah.
So
okay, so would you rather you can only call up one, Jet Williams to play third, and then Hamilton's your shortstop, or Cooper Pratt playing shortstop, and you move Hamilton to third?
I'd rather have. That's a good question. I feel like Pratt's got the contract, so he should probably come up first.
With the logjam of infielders and that, does that mean Jet Williams should be a part of a trade package before the deadline? Even if he's never played an inning for the big league club for the Brewers?
I would love to see him stay just for this year, just because we are struggling, and just in case. But at the same time, if they packaged him for an infielder, that wouldn't hurt either if we got somebody who was a power hitter.
What if he was a part of a Tarek Skubal trade package?
As long as they don't trade Made, then I'm in.
Yeah?
So...
Because Fisher, I know it's only single A, but dude's raking with the Timber Rattlers too.
Yes.
So, I mean, tough decisions are going to be made coming up in a couple months. So, all right. We only got a minute left till the shot clock cuts us off. 1 hour in the books. Coming up next hour, we'll talk a little hoops, maybe a little bit of not necessarily an update, but just Jim Morzarski, who covers the Bucks for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, has some thoughts on the whole Giannis situation and that. So we're going to play a couple clips here from his podcast on the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, the Point Forward podcast, and kind of get all of your thoughts on that. Continue to be involved in the conversation. If you want to talk some Brewers or some Green and Gold or some Bucks, let us know. Hit us up, 715-830-1912, or on the Section 105 chats on our YouTube page. News updates. We'll be back after these quick words.